right, hello everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Earth's Mightiest Comics. This is a special spooky Halloween After Dark episode. It is quite late. It's later for Sebastian than it is for me, but I'm also quite tired, so this could be a disaster of an episode. We'll see. This was a big week for comics. Some of the stuff on that list includes the new series from Tony S. Daniel, Edenwood at Image. There's a new issue of Immortal Thor. New issue of The Flash, new issue of Captain America, the Amazon's Attached series starts, and of course a new issue of Something is Killing the Children. What do you want to talk about first?
Oh man, I mean, if we go Halloween, we could do Dracula.
Okay, yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
This is Universal Monsters Dracula #1. It is written by James Tynion IV, and the artist on it is Martin Simmons. This is adapting the movie from Universal Pictures. I have not seen that movie. I don't know if that...
I honestly don't even know if I've seen it.
Yeah, I don't know if that invalidates my opinion on this comic, but I think it was good.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was pretty good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. The art is fucking crazy in this. There's some panels here where I'm like, holy shit. I really love in particular the way that Renfield is drawn as just this weird little like pale man. It's really creepy, and his dialogue is really creepy. It's just like really well told. I just think like the dialogue, all the characters are immediately so fascinating. Like the doctor dude and his like son-in-law. I mean, they aren't married yet, I don't think, but you know, essentially you get the idea.
Yeah.
Like they're all really interesting from a character standpoint already. The like brief action sequence of Dracula going out is just fucking really cool. It's just all around good stuff.
Yeah. The thing that like really brought me into this was the art. Like you said, Renfield. He was super creepily drawn in that sense, and you didn't see much of Dracula in this first one.
Yeah.
But you did see him at points, and I mean, you didn't see him drawn. I feel like not that much, but yeah, it didn't bother me. I didn't care that much.
I do. So again, haven't seen the movie. Dracula turns into a werewolf in this, and not
yes. Yes.
That kind of threw me off a little bit. I don't know if that's. I think in like I have heard that certain iterations of vampires can turn into wolves, but it did kind of throw me off. I don't know if that's how it kind of was in the original film, but that did. I was like, whoa. For a second, I was like, because one of the characters early on mentions werewolves, and I was like, okay, I guess werewolves are just in this universe too. And I was like, oh wait, no, like it's Dracula. Dracula is a werewolf.
Dracula, yes, yeah, because you probably think of like just the bat or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will blame Tomb of Dracula, the Marvel series that ran from the 70s, for that.
I've seen some like Draculas turn into like bats. I've seen wolves. I've seen like rats even.
Okay.
Like I've seen them just like mostly those three. I haven't really seen anything else.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much I have to say on this one. I also read this one early. We're recording this a day later than we normally do, and as such, I don't remember everything from a lot of these. But I do remember liking this. I thought it was very good.
Yeah, I mean, not a lot really happens. It's mostly them kind of like interrogating Renfield.
Yeah.
Mostly that's like the biggest thing that I feel like happened.
They were gonna cure him as well.
They were trying to cure him. They were gonna try and cure him by replacing like his infected blood. Yeah, with like clean blood essentially.
Yeah.
And he freaks him out.
Not happy about that.
Yes. Yeah. And basically Dracula. What was it that did he suck Renfield's blood, or did he just infect him? I don't know. I don't know.
I have an up panel.
Something happened, and I don't know. Renfield is just like obsessed with Dracula. But yeah. And so there was the ship thing that happened that the son-in-law is super intrigued by. And that was pretty much it. That's just mostly about Renfield saying master.
Yeah. Can I just say, it is fucking wild that Renfield came out this year. That feels like it was last year. But that movie somehow came out in April of this year. That was not even that long ago. How the fuck did that happen?
Yeah. Did you watch that one?
No, I didn't. I heard
Oh.
it was not great. So
I mean,
one of my coworkers liked it, and my other coworker, who I tend to usually line up with his opinions on some movies, not everything, but a lot of other stuff I do line up with him on. And I was like, okay, if you don't like it, I will not go see it either. Anyway, I think this was very good. I gave it a 4 out of 5, 8 out of 10. I did think about giving it a 9 right after I read it, but I did opt for 8. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
I give it an 8.
Anyway, let's move right along. Let's do The Flash. This is written by Simon Spurrier. Artist is Mike Deodato Jr. Neither of us were really that big a fan of the first one. I do think I liked it more than you. If I recall correctly, I gave it a 5. You gave it a 3. How do you feel about this one?
Right. So I still hate
Really?
the art.
Okay. Interesting.
I still hate it.
What is your problem with it? Is it the penciling or the paneling? Because I know the paneling is kind of divisive as well.
I think it's both, honestly. I just hate the way he's drawn. I hate the way like the background's drawn. I think he looks super fucking weird. Like honestly, like just does not fit the rest of everything, like the way anything else is drawn.
Okay.
Just don't like it.
Yeah.
Story, I don't even have much to say about the story. I don't even know if it was better than last. Like it's not like the way, I don't know, because it's the same fucking story. So it's not like it was better than the last one. It's just same shite that made no sense to me. Wally tries defeating the weird thing. I don't even know if we learned ever what it was.
Yeah, not really. I think the stillness kind of reference it briefly, but they don't explain too much. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember. Okay, yeah, I remember this. The reason why I gave it 5 now. But yeah. So he tried defeating that. Something happened there. He got frozen or something. Oh my god.
He went into it. Yeah, so he got hit with the gorilla ray that was sending everybody out, and that sent him into like a weird limbo area where he ran into the stillness, which are these big. If you're watching this on YouTube, they're on the cover right now. You can see them, but they're these like big, lanky cosmic beings. They almost look like Eternity from Thor: Love and Thunder, and also a bunch of other Marvel comics. But there's like 10 of them or something.
And so, but he got like Flash also got like a new power in a way, right? Where he was like kind of doing it like basically going so fast that like he was basically just like standing still, and he like would move in front of God. And stuff.
So right, essentially, I think it seems like he can just kind of step into this weird other space, which is connected to the Speed Force, I think, somehow, and then using that can essentially just teleport now.
So that's why I gave it 5 stars, because I thought that was pretty interesting. But overall, I'm still not enjoying this at all.
That's interesting.
Giving it 1 more.
Because I thought this was pretty good. I think this was a big step over the first one. That being said, I also gave it only 2 more stars. I gave it 7, 2 more stars over what I gave it last time.
Yeah.
I almost gave it an 8, though. I think this was really... That's the thing. Even in the first issue, I remember saying, like, yes, I'm not gelling with everything here or how it's being written necessarily, but I think the concepts from the start were really interesting, and I think they continue to be really interesting here. And I think this one, now that we've got the first issue out of the way, it's allowed to flow a little bit better. And as a result, I think those concepts come through more, not concisely, but in a way that is more interesting and fully developed. And I just felt like the stillness themselves, I'm really interested in what's up with them. This whole other realm with all this cosmic horror stuff, really interesting, I think, for the Flash. It's okay. It's interesting. It is a weird kind of, like, the Flash is not a character I associate with cosmic horror, so it's kind of a weird angle to throw him into. But I also know, like, Simon Spurrier is kind of that kind of writer, so I just make sense from that standpoint. And I do think it's interesting. I'm digging what the concepts are that are being laid out. It's just been a question of, has it been executed in a way that I think is cool? And in this issue, I think the answer is yes. I don't remember much else of what happened. I guess Grodd's plan went through. I don't really know what Grodd's plan was.
It wasn't really explained well. He was just making a hexagon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just to clarify, not like just drawing a hexagon or anything. He was going to different street corners to form some hexagon pattern that would do something or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I think I really quite enjoyed this one. I do think, yeah, the art is. I don't think it's great. I think, I think the paneling is. I mean, this is what Mike Deodato does on like all of his books, and it is kind of weird. It's like at a certain point, it's like, dude, can you just give us a splash page without all these weird panels for no reason when it's all the same picture? Like that works sometimes, but you don't need to do it all the time. And yeah, the line work is, it's not my favorite. I don't think it's terrible though, and it didn't like, noticeably detract from my my reading experience. So I'm yeah, I like this one. I am gonna definitely be keeping going with it, at least a couple more issues. I mean, of course, could fall off quite drastically at some point, but I think for right now, pretty cool. Yeah, 7 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, so I've the 5, crisp 5 there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do. I'm gonna talk about Green Arrow.
Okay. Here. I did not get around to this one.
Right. This one starts off with Oliver getting chased by a bunch of other Green Arrows. He's in the future with old Oliver, right? We saw that in the last one.
Yep, I do remember that.
So eventually, in this one, we learned that it's not really the future. Or it is, but it isn't. It's kind of confusing to explain. But basically, that wasn't actually old Oliver. That was like a robot. Okay. And our Oliver figured that out too, and so he shot him. And the old Oliver that isn't old Oliver pushed him into the time machine and sent him back into the past. The old Oliver sent our Oliver back into the past. This is so hard to explain. And now he's with his old self fighting a bunch of other Green Arrows again, and it ends with him getting shot in the chest by an arrow. And Black Canary, and oh god, what is his name? Arsenal, I think is what his name. Yeah, Arsenal.
Roy, yeah.
Yeah, and then Roy's child's mother. Don't remember her name.
Okay.
Cheshire Cat's mother, essentially. Yeah.
Okay.
They're all working together to try and find Oliver because she said that it's not Waller's fault. Oliver is actually is working without him knowing it. His future self is actually working with Waller and Parallax so that Oliver doesn't stay with his family anymore.
Right.
That was all revealed in this one too.
Wait, but
okay.
Questions? Yeah. Wasn't it Oliver who? I know you just said old Oliver's a robot.
Yes.
You said he's working with Waller.
So not the old Oliver, but future present Oliver is working with Waller. He went into the future. He went back into the past to make sure that Waller and Parallax keep Green Arrow away from his family, which is why Parallax showed up, and which is why Waller's doing something so that Oliver can't get back to his family. But future Oliver was the one who was trying to keep Oliver away from his family, though, too, right? Like he's involved in that. Okay. Yes. Because so that's not he did in fact see his family die, and he knows for a fact he causes it, so he wants to keep Oliver away from his family so they don't die. That was my confusion, because I know a couple issues ago we saw the whole thing where he was like, where we saw that message from old Oliver that was like, "Duh, you can't be with your family," and all that stuff. And so I was like, wait, was it just Waller and Parallax trying to trick Oliver or something? But no, it sounds okay. No, it is not. It is, in fact, his future self, but the one we saw is a robot. God. Yeah. So I know you had when we talked about this last month, you had problems with the fact that this book was not street level enough. How do you feel about this one, with it being fucking insane? I mean, okay, so this one didn't have as much time travel in it, realistically, right? Really? It sounds like it had more. No, okay, see, the thing is, though, right, he started out already in the future, right? And you just see him go back to the past. The way they explained it was a bit confusing. I explained it very confusingly. I can tell you that because that's the way I understood it.
Yeah.
But I bet if you read it, you'd probably find some faults in what I just said. But
Okay.
he started out right. He started out with old Oliver, right?
Yeah.
We saw that last issue, and we discover this issue that old Oliver is just a robot,
Right, is a robot.
and so he pushes our present Oliver to the past for some reason. I really don't know what his plan was there, but I don't understand that one. I'm still not really understanding. But yeah, I mean, yeah, there wasn't really that much time travel in this one. I'm gonna be honest. This one was a more just. It started out with Oliver just fighting a bunch of themselves, and you saw the boxing glove arrow, so that was fun. Yeah, I mean, I want to say not much else like story-wise happened in this one besides the fact that we just discovered, okay, so it is Oliver himself that's keeping his old future Oliver is keeping his present Oliver away. It's so hard to explain. There's too many Olivers, bro.
Yeah. I mean, there's like 8 Olivers on this cover alone. So.
Yeah. No, you see all of them too. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's so future Oliver's keeping present Oliver away from his family. That's all you basically that's all we really learned.
It is interesting that they're saying like Waller's not the bad guy here, because Waller's kind of being set up to be the bad guy of Dawn of DC so far, so that is kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's not. She wasn't the one that came up with this plan. It was Oliver himself.
Okay, yeah, because I know, I think in the upcoming Beast World event, which, God, another event. Already, I think she's kind of being teed up to be kind of the antagonist there. But I have not read the latest issue of Titan still, so I don't really know if they've developed that yet.
Yeah. All in all, honestly, it's a confusing ass comic at this point. It's going back and forth, I feel like, just every single time.
Yeah.
But I surprisingly gave it a 7. Feels high, but I'm gonna leave it.
I often find that when I read a comic, usually by the time we record this, I've dropped it a star. Not always, and sometimes I bump it a star after thinking about it, but usually I drop it a star. Okay, well, in that case, I'll move on to one that I read that you did not read. I'm going to go with Tales of the Titans #4. So I only read this because it was kind of, this site at least said it was like a prologue to the Beast World event. So, this event might have already started. That being said, I did not feel like it was really setting up much. It's essentially just Gar, Beast Boy, is traumatized because he lost an eye to Deadshot. And so he goes out to just do some tightening stuff. He's also having trouble holding forms of larger animals. He can hold the smaller forms, but he tries to be a whale for a while, and then he just has to he can't do it for that long. So then he gets captured by a werewolf who wants to use Gar's blood to cure himself, but Gar's blood or whatever cure this is was actually just a dupe by the werewolf inside of the dude to turn him into a full wolf, to just give the wolf full control.
Gotcha.
So there's a bit of a fight, and then it turns out that Gar's eye is actually fine. He lost it a while ago, and it's been completely healed for a while, but he just has a phantom limb, or not the opposite of a phantom limb thing, where he just feels like it's still gone even though it's back.
Gotcha.
And so he takes off the eye patch at the end, and he and Raven are like, haha, we're all the best. And that's pretty much it. I was not excited for this one. I didn't want to read it. I, again, only read it because it was the Beast World. I keep wanting to call it Beast Wars. That's a Transformers thing, though. I only got it because it said it was a prologue to Beast World. And I think this was surprisingly pretty decent. It's written by Andrew Constant, and the artists are Ted Brandt and Ro Stein. I think the reason I like this as much as I did, I think the art's good, and there's a lot of it. There's not much text. Despite it being 40 pages, it was kind of a breeze to read. So I think that kind of helped because it made it just kind of flow very quickly. And it was written fine. This surprised me. I thought it was going to be worse than it was, but I ended up quite liking it. I gave it a 7 out of 10.
All right, let's talk about some Wonder Woman.
Okay. This is number 2, written by Tom King. Artist is Daniel Sampere. Pretty good still, I think.
I think so too.
Yeah, I do think not a whole lot happens in this issue. It's essentially just kind of split between a flashback fight between Diana and the Amazon that everybody is hunting in the U.S. There's that, and then there's also a part in the present where Diana fights the entire U.S. Army, essentially.
Yes.
And there's also a backup story that leads into Amazon's attack, I guess, where there's like someone's like, the prophecy, all the Amazons are gonna die. So I think, and I also think that as far as backup stories go, like it feels consequential, which is rare for these.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
But so as a result of that, like I don't have much to say about it. I think it works well. There's some really cool art in it. The page where they show the title is really cool. It's a double page spread. The top half of the 2 pages is flashback, Diana facing down that other Amazon.
Yeah.
And then the bottom half is like Diana facing down, which is like a whole bunch of tanks and stuff and aircraft and everything. It's really cool. There's a scene where there's a page where Diana is just like holding a tank by the gun and like smashing it down on people. Is very cool. So yeah, again, like this is continuing to be solid so far. I mean, again, early days, obviously, it could completely drop off, but I said this last time we talked about this. I am generally mixed on Tom King. I think he can do some really good stuff, but I also think his work can be not great. So far, this is one of the better things I've read from him. That being said, like it's very possible he loses steam. I think, a lot of people really like the start of his Batman run, and then it just became fucking insane. I haven't read most of it, but I know how people feel about the end of that Batman run. So you never know. It is to drop off, but for right now, I think it's quite good.
Yeah, like you said, I still think it's pretty good. I think her facing off like the entirety of essentially the entirety of the U.S. military, and really nothing happening to her besides a couple like scrapes here and there that we saw. And after everybody was basically, or not everybody, but Steve Trevor himself was like, you can't take on the whole of the U.S. Army. You just can't. And she literally does. They literally like laid like 5 artillery shells like the first strike, and they were like, that did nothing. And so, but I think the story-wise, it didn't really progress too much. This one was hot, but like behind like what exactly happened with the attack, that I think got a bit more in the Amazon attack comic.
We'll get to that.
Where it progressed, but I still think, even though the story didn't actually progress in this one at all, I still think it was very well drawn, and it was an enjoyable enough story of Diana and the past.
Yeah, I gave it an 8.
I also gave it an 8. Yeah, that's an 8.
Well, since we're doing Amazon stuff, do we want to transition into Amazon's attack now?
Yeah, I think it's a...
Okay, this is written by Josie Campbell. The artist is Vasco Georgiev. I'm going to be honest, I don't remember most of this one.
Gotcha. Well, this one, okay, so I didn't know this, but there's apparently like 3 different Amazon factions.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. So that was a bit of a surprise to me, but basically the queen of the Amazons
is it Nubia now?
Yeah, it's Nubia.
Okay.
Yep. She got basically, I don't know, it wasn't invited wasn't the word, but I forget the word. But she was, I'm just gonna say invited. She was invited to talk to the president over the situation that was happening.
Right.
And she accepts this and decides to go alone against the wishes of somebody. It's not everybody, but it's...
Is it Faruka?
Oh god, it's not Faruka. No, Faruka's
is it
part
Cleo?
Of the other. I want to say it was Cleo.
Is it Hoppy the rabbit?
It was not Hoppy the rabbit. But basically, she gets there and what looks like gas to me. basically is infecting the Secret Service, and they start attacking her. And that's where the bald lady on the cover, that's Faruka.
Yeah.
She comes in because she was sneaking into where the president was. I don't remember her reason for behind it. But basically, I think it was that faction of the Amazons intercepted Nubia's transmission to the president and stuff. So she was there, and so they were basically fighting up to the president to like try and protect him. But then that's when we meet the other faction. This lady, I think Wonder Girl, Wonder Girl. She basically punched the president and knocked him out. Still unclear as to why that happened exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, the gas is essentially taking over all of the Secret Service, and they all are like trying to kill all the Amazons, and then they all fall out of the building. They're like the top floor of a building. They fall out the window. They're falling down, and that's where Mary Marvel comes in. She saves them all, drops them to the ground safely. She's geeking out because she's in love with Amazons and shit. And then Secret Service surround them. She teleports them away, and then they are now on like the most wanted list for.
Oh right, USA. They end up in Times Square. Yeah,
Times Square. They're most wanted in like USA, Interpol, all that jazz.
Yeah, Mary is the only character who I really have any familiarity with, and as such, I was kind of just tuned out for reading a lot of this. It just didn't gel with me. I don't think it was terrible, but the whole time I was just like, I just don't really care. I think the angle of the Amazons being hunted is more interesting in Wonder Woman. I think the Wonder Woman book is carrying out the whole Amazon situation in a way that is much just more interesting than this one. And again, not to say this is terrible. I don't think it is. It's it's fine, but I think that the fact that I can't remember most of this issue, or couldn't before you just explained it, also says a lot. Like I just think it's pretty forgettable on the whole.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. It's definitely. I don't know why they would include. I honestly don't. I'm not sure why they would decide to make a whole other separate comic for all this.
Yeah,
that's my biggest question behind it. But
the other thing is, like, how long is this going for? Like, it's going at least through January, and it sounds like it's gonna go. I'm gonna take a guess. It's probably gonna be like 6 issues, but like, why though?
Yeah, that's the biggest question. Just at this point, like, why? If you really have Wonder Woman, just to progress it through there, like, I don't.
Right. I don't know. I gave it a 6. I didn't think it was much of anything really.
I give it a 7, but okay, I'll leave it at 7. Sure.
Okay. God. Okay. Batman, Catwoman, Gotham War, Red Hood #2. Written by Matthew Rosenberg. The artist is, I'm sorry again, Nicholas Mezija. Again, I don't know how to pronounce her name. I'm sorry. God, I don't remember much of what happened in this one. I think like a lot of it was kind of set in flashback, right? Where
a lot of this was
something.
Well, it was set in flashback, and it like rapidly progressed through, and then we got to the present.
Yeah, you just see like it just like fast forwards through all the stuff that Jason has already done in the other 2 series that this is running through, and like the Joker is there for some reason, and it seems like he's not the real Joker. That was news to me, but then Scarecrow was like, "Oh, what happened? Are you're not you're the new Joker?" And I was like, "What is happening?"
Yeah, it's the Joker that doesn't laugh or something like that.
Yeah, but then what's the real Joker doing? Is this the real Joker? Is there another Joker?
This is the real Joker.
Okay.
I don't know how to explain it.
I don't think this was all that. I don't think it wasn't terrible. But I just, again, like, I think, it's quite telling if I can't remember much of anything that happened in it when I read it, I think yesterday.
This one bothers me because it literally doesn't give us anything new besides the fact that Scarecrow and Joker were in the burning building that Batman and Selina, I want to say Serena for some reason.
Yeah.
Selena.
Serena
we're
Williams,
in.
famous tennis player.
Yeah, exactly. But like that was literally like, besides the fact that he met with Ravager, and they were supposed to meet up, and then all this shit happened to him. Like we didn't get anything new. It was literally just recap, and I just don't understand why include it at all. I just don't. I didn't understand.
I think I kind of felt that way from the beginning. I think I said in the first one, I was like, this is not terrible, but it's like, it doesn't really feel like it connects to anything.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess like it seems like this is setting up like the end of the Joker who never laughs or whatever, which fine, I guess, but that's like, is this the place for that? Like, I know Red Hood's like been a fairly decent part of this event, like of the Bat family, besides Bruce. He was the one who's gotten the most page time, I think. But even still, it's like, well, why have this many? I just, it's like Night Terrors all over again, Sebastian. Why does this 2-issue miniseries exist? So, yeah, I don't know. Do you have anything else to say on this? Because I really don't.
No, not really.
Yeah, I was too generous with this. I gave it a 6, but it's not. I'm gonna drop it to a 4.
Oh, 2 stars, huh?
No, I'll give it a 5. I don't actually think it's that bad.
Yeah.
On its own merits, it's fine, I guess, but I don't know. This is the kind of like corporate tie-in shit that I hate in comics. I'm just like,
yeah. I gave it a 5, and I'm gonna leave it at 5. I think 5 seats it fine.
How about I'll talk about Marvel Zombies now, I guess.
Okay.
This is Marvel Zombies Black, White, and Blood, #1. It's the start of a new miniseries. It's going to be 4 issues to capitalize on the Halloween season, I guess. It's got 3 stories here. It's an anthology. We got the first one is Garth Ennis and Rachel Stott are the creators. The second one is Alex Segura and Javier Fernandez. And the third one is Ashley Allen. And then the artist is Justin Mason. I don't really think any of these are that great. The first one is a Daredevil story where right off the bat, I didn't love this one because I think the thing that's interesting to me about Marvel Zombies is the fact that the heroes are like their consciousnesses are still there and they are talking and they are aware of everything they're doing and they hate it. That is, I think, the most interesting aspect of this universe that they created. And Daredevil does not say a single word in this issue. He's just like a cage fighter. For some reason, he's involved in like a zombie cage fighting ring where he is like the undefeated champion of the zombies in this cage fighting match. And so he does a cage fight, and then the Punisher finds him and straps a bomb to him, and he's like, all right, he's essentially like, I can kill you now and end it for you, or I can strap this bomb to you, send you in, and take out a whole bunch of them as well. And so he does that, and then he blows up, and then a bunch of people die, presumably. It cuts off before then. Second one is first one's fine, by the way. It's not terrible, but I don't think it's very good.
So is Punisher's alive? He's not a
Punisher's is not zombified in this. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And then the second one is a Spider-Man story where he is defending the Daily Bugle. So Jonah is still alive. But like Betty Brant has been turned. I think Robbie Robertson may have been turned as well. I don't know for 100% on that. But and so he's fighting, and the whole time he's like, well, at least I hope that Aunt May and MJ are still alive. And then Aunt May for some reason just shows up at the Bugle and she's a zombie. And she's like, what have you done to my nephew, Spider-Man? And he's like, I am your nephew. And then he kills Aunt May.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. It's pretty brutal, man. And he like really kills her. She asked him to, but yeah, it's still like, it's just like he is really like just punching her in the face so hard. It's kind of ridiculous. And then he gets bit. And I do like one thing about this story a lot, which is Jonah gets so freaked out that he starts being nice to Spider-Man. I love when that happens. Like Jonah, there's a point where, and he's still trying to hide that under like all the you're a menace and everything. But there's a point where it's like Spider-Man, just come in. Like you don't have to pretend to be a hero anymore. The whole world is falling apart. You can just, you can come back and hold up with us inside. And then, but he's already been bitten, so he's like, Jonah, everybody just run. And that's where the story ends. And then the third one is a Moon Knight story where Moon Knight has not been turned. He's going around just trying to do his thing of like saving people who are in the night or whatever his thing is. And so he fights Iron Man zombified, and he fights I think he fights Black Widow as well. And at one point he does get bit by somebody, and then he turns into a zombie, and Khonshu is like, yo, you can feed on your other zombies. I'm gonna possess you. And Moon Knight's like, yeah, possess me so I can finish your mission. And so Khonshu then possesses Moon Knight, and he's like, I'll let you eat these other zombified superheroes, and then you still have to come and help me like protect everybody. So again, these are all fine. I think the Spider-Man was my least favorite. I just think it was kind of boring. But I don't think any of them are great or terrible. I gave it a 6 overall.
All right. So it had nothing to do with there was no Wolverine story.
No. And I know Daredevil's on the cover of the next one, and I'm pretty sure he's not in the next issue. So
all right. Nice. Okay, so I've got to talk about Alan Scott Green Lantern. Now, writer Tim Sheridan, artist. Yeah, I think you pronounce that Cian Tormey. Man, oh man. So this one is basically just about it's basically just about Green Lantern getting blackmailed to be a part of the Justice League.
Okay.
Justice Society of America, I should say, not Justice League, but
Yeah.
Justice Society of America. By Hoover. And so yeah, he's blackmailed to being more of a part of Justice Society of America, I should say, because he's a part of it. Just J. Edgar Hoover wants him to be more involved, and he's blackmailed because I guess he's gay, which, as we all know, back in the days is not accepted.
Some people don't accept it now as well.
That is also still true. So he is blackmailed with that, and it ends with him rescuing a building. I don't remember from what. I can't remember if it was on fire or what. I'm drawing a blank there. But Flash showed up, and Flash was like, "Oh, hey, you're Green Lantern. You're here. You're helping." He's like, "Yep." And that's pretty much how it ended.
Okay.
No, it ended with him being on a table. So we don't know if this is a dream or not right now.
Okay.
We don't know if this is all in his head or not. That's how it ended. That's how it ended.
Gotcha.
Dumb. Now that I'm talking about it, I hate it. Not that I'm talking about it, but like I hate it when comics do this thing where it's like they give you an entire story and at the very end it's like, oh, was it real?
Yeah.
Like okay. Yeah. Yeah. I don't. Nah, bro. I mean, even the story itself, I already wasn't liking the story itself. Like it was literally just be a part of the Justice Society of America, or I'm going to tell the entire world you're gay. And it's just like, all right, well, I guess I have no choice now. But it's like, you're a Green Lantern, just like literally just make everything disappear. I don't know, but
just fly him into space.
But yeah, so that was it. In the end, the story wasn't enjoying the story. I gave it at first 6 stars, mostly because I quite enjoyed the art on this one. But now that I'm thinking about it, yeah, that ending really just really did not like it. So I'm putting it down. I'm gonna give it a 4. I'm just gonna minus 2 stars from that.
How would you say it stacks up against the other two New Golden Age series?
Well, I've only read the Jay Garrick one.
Wesley Dodds counts as well.
Wesley Dodds.
The Sandman one.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh my God, I forgot about that one. Wow. Well, I put the Flash one definitely in first, and this one in third. I'd put because I know I enjoyed it. I know you didn't enjoy the Sandman as much as me.
Yeah, I didn't love that one.
But I still enjoyed the Sandman definitely more than this one. That's for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I suppose I'll talk about the other one that I read that you didn't read. I'm pretty sure this is the only other one that I read that you didn't read.
Well, actually, I don't know about that one. You might have one more.
Which one is the other one?
I'm too ashamed to say it.
What?
Something is killing the children.
Oh my God! Really?
I couldn't find it.
Okay. Well, I guess in that case, I'll just get both of them out of the way right here. I'm going to start with Rare Flavors number 2. This is written by Ram V. The artist is Felipe Andrade. I remember the first one I thought was interesting, but I didn't love it. This one, though, I think this one was really great. I was really into this one. I think now that the characters are a little bit more established, I think it was able to just kind of focus on moving along its plot, and I think that plot's really interesting. For those who weren't around for the when I talked about the first issue, it's essentially following this demon named Reuben, who comes down. He loves food and he loves people, and he also loves to eat people. And so he's coming down to make a food documentary with a person named Mo, who has done some film stuff in the past. And just so this one, they go to like this big like chili pepper field, which I just like. It looks incredible. The colors in this are like just so vibrant and rich and cool. It looks incredible. When they first kind of stumble into that field where they're harvesting all the chili peppers, it's like incredible. It's such a great page. You also you have another recipe in this one. This is I think it seems like this is going to be a thing they do every issue where they put a recipe in there as well. And he also does confront the two people that are hunting him down. Essentially, they're like, "Yo, you're a demon. You're going to eat some people. You already have eaten somebody. You're going to eat some more people. We are not going to let you do that." There's a joke I quite liked in this where the two people are watching him from afar as he's harvesting the chili peppers, and he's filming the documentary, and two people are sitting there. They have binoculars, and they're like, one of them's like, maybe he just really does want to just like, maybe he's changed. He just wants to come down and just make this food documentary, eat some food. And then there's a panel where nobody says anything, and then the next panel is the other guy going like, he ate he ate the owner of a tea stand. Like and they're like, okay, yeah, good point actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, like this one really kind of knocked me out of the park. I was really surprised by how much I like this one. I had this sitting at an 8. I think I'm gonna bump it to a 9. This actually almost made my pick of the week. I think this was a really good, just really good all around. Because I wasn't sure. After the last one, I was like, I think I'm gonna give this one more, and but I don't know if I'm gonna stick with it past that. I think this is supposedly only 6 issues, so I think I'm gonna stick with this the whole way through because this one was very good. Yeah, 9 out of 10 for me. And then the other one, Something is Showing the Children, number 34. This is my pick of the week.
So sad.
Yeah, I'm gonna try not to say too much about spoiler stuff because I know how much Sebastian loves the series. But essentially, this is kind of where it's so interesting because again, not that much happens realistically. Essentially, it's just that Cutter is at the farm, and now the Duplicitype is also coming up to the farm. So now they're kind of all there, and there's a cliffhanger at the end, which I won't spoil. But the actual fight does not start in this issue. That is still being left for next issue. So, and it also, this was a really fast read. Like, it went by like nothing. It was so quick. It took me probably less than 10 minutes to read this one. Art is still great, obviously. I mean, again, it's like same creative team as it's been the whole time. James Tynion IV on writing and Werther Dell'Edera on art. And so, yeah, again, it's very fast. It's very fast paced, but I think it, and again, like, as I said, not a whole lot happens, but I do think there's enough momentum, and the writing here is very tense, even though not a lot actually does go down. It's still very tense. You feel like the whole time the sense of unease, like shit is about to go down. Like it's all coalescing into one big, like just clusterfuck of a situation. And so I really felt the tension there. Whereas last time it was just like the prep. They were just like getting guns and stuff. And it was like, it's fine. But ultimately, like that really felt like it was just kind of killing time until the main thing started. So now, again, this issue didn't quite bring us to that main thing, but it did set things up really nicely for the next issue. I'm a little bit concerned. The next issue does appear to be the last issue of the arc, seeing as we don't have issues confirmed for December or January, which means we're going to be taking a break probably till at least February, maybe till March or April. So I am kind of wondering, like, first of all, maybe they won't wrap it up next issue, and this is going to be like a 4 mini arcs comprising one big arc. Like the first arc was 3 mini arcs comprising that full arc. But I do hope that it manages to pace things out well going forward, because if next issue is the last issue of this arc, there's a lot to fit in there. So, but I also I trust James Tynion. He's a great writer, obviously. I don't think I've really read anything from him that I haven't liked, and this was no exception. I gave this one also a 9 out of 10. Just missed out on that 10 out of 10. I think because, again, it read so quickly, and also I did feel the ending was kind of abrupt. Like the cliffhanger felt just kind of like, oh, okay, we're here, I guess. It just kind of
Yeah.
felt like, oh, out of nowhere. But yeah, still a great 9 out of 10. Yeah, great series.
All right. Yeah, I was so sad when I couldn't find it. Okay, we have, I believe, 5 more if I counted correctly. Let's do Power Girl.
Okay. So this is the one that you made me read. This is Power Girl number 10. I read issues 1 and 2.
Yep.
Sebastian, this is just about 2. It's written by Leah Williams. The artist is Eduardo Pansica. Yeah, I don't know about this one.
I'm curious, what did you think of the first one?
I think I might have liked the first one a bit better than the second one.
Yeah.
I don't think either is great. And again, like, I don't remember most of either of these issues. You know, I remember a little bit more of the first one. I really like, I know Amalok like eats the fucking kryptonite virus thing.
Yep.
And then becomes like a super demon or something.
Yeah, I think he becomes the virus. It kind of seemed like to me,
Okay.
but like, yeah.
I don't know. That's all I remember from issue number 2, really.
I mean, that's all really that happened, because
Yeah.
most of it was just Power Girl in her like human alter ego just preparing to leave, and then
that's right.
Literally,
yeah.
it was just the end. It was just like Amalok showed up and they had a scuffle.
Yeah, I don't think this is great. Yeah, I don't know about this one. This one didn't really do it for me. I really don't have much to say on this one, again, because I can't remember most of it. I think I gave both issues a 6. Yeah, I do think the first one was a little bit better, though. I didn't really like it. And like the second one, like also just felt kind of more boring, because like at least we had some kind of action sequence in the first one.
Yeah, in the first one.
To break up the monotony of the story otherwise, but there was not really any of that in the second one, I don't think. I mean, I think they do, like, yeah, as you said, Power Girl and Amalok run into each other, but they don't there's not much of a confrontation there right now. So
it really wasn't much of a confrontation. Like Power Girl like really wiped the floor with them. Yeah, the second one was definitely more boring. It was honestly kind of a slog. There was so much to read, I felt like.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, there was so much talking. And yeah, it literally was just Power Girl just let me see, do they have her name?
It's Paige.
Paige, yeah, that's what her name is.
Although technically her name is Kara Zor-El as well. She's from an alternate Earth, yeah.
Yeah, Kara Zor-El, but then her Earth name, Paige.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was mostly just her talking to Lois at the Daily Planet, and then her going back to her apartment, packing up, leaving, going to the Fortress of Solitude in the Bermuda?
Yeah, something around
right?
There,
yeah, right? That's what I wanted to say. And then she went to the first case of the virus. She found Amalok there. They fought. And yeah, he like ripped the virus out of his face, and then it fell into the ocean.
Yeah.
Along with his body. Yeah, that was it. And it's you know, I made you read this one mostly just because I wanted to see what you thought of it. I didn't think you'd like it, to be honest. I
this
really
is the difference between you and me. I try to pitch stuff that I think you'll like, and you're just like, yeah, fuck it. Let's just make your.
What else? Like I all right. So I don't venture much in my comics, right?
No, I know. Yeah.
And so, like, I really don't have a lot to give you here.
And I had kind of an advantage. I've been reading comics again regularly for about a year before we started doing the podcast, so I kind of knew already what was good and what wasn't.
I'm at a loss for what to give you. I could have made you read Radiant Black, but I wasn't about to start reading that one either. So
yeah, there's a lot of them.
So yeah, that's why I'm just like, all right, let me see what he thinks about Power Girl, because I'm genuinely curious if he liked it more or just hated it more than me. But it kind of seems like we're in the same thing. Like, it's all right.
Well, I just want to shift gears and go to the one that I made you read this week, which is Edenwood number 1. This is, I believe is it written and drawn by Tony S. Daniel? Yeah, written and drawn by Tony S. Daniel. This has some Noctera vibes to it, and that makes sense because I got to the end of this comic and it was like, from the creator of Edenwood, you should also check out Noctera, and I was like, okay, same person. So yeah, what do you think about this one?
I enjoyed it. Very gory.
There's they throw a lot of concepts at you. It's just kind of like, what the fuck is going on?
They do. Yeah, that beginning was it was a lot. It was a lot to like It was just at first I thought I was like, man, was I supposed to read something like before this? Because
Yeah.
it felt like they had like expected me to know like a lot of this already. I was
Yeah,
like, oh,
well,
man.
and it's not even like concepts. It's like they use different words than us occasionally. Like they have more words to their vocabulary. So there's a couple points where it's like this word means this, like sustenance, and it's like, okay, I guess we have to learn a new language partially as well, or new slang at least. But yeah, I also think it was pretty cool. It follows the this character named Ryan or Rion or I don't know, Rion, however you want to pronounce that.
Yeah.
And initially starts out following a couple other characters as well that are kind of part of this group. And there's this forest called the Edenwood, which is expanding over the U.S. Over time. There's also witches that are, I guess, trying to destroy the Edenwood. At first, I thought they created it, but no, apparently they are fighting it. And so then the group gets separated. Some of them make it. Essentially, the forest starts expanding while they're like on the edge of it. And so two of them get lost. Ryan and Adelia, yeah. And so Ryan ends up finding this other demon hunter named Bastille. And then there's like a 3-year time jump where he has been training with Bastille and has become a demon hunter himself. Maybe finds that other character's name who I've already forgotten. Adelia? Maybe finds Adelia, but then she's also a demon or something.
Yeah, and Adelia's dead.
Yeah. And then some of their other group just shoots him so much.
It was the witch war council people, isn't it?
Yeah, but one of them was Adelia's brother.
Yes.
From the start. Yeah. And so yeah, they just shoot the absolute shit out of this guy, but he's still alive, and that's where the issue ends.
I don't know how he's alive.
Yeah, his like eye is hanging out of its socket. It's like, how the fuck did this dude survive? I think this was interesting. Again, it throws a lot at you. It's a little bit hard to kind of sort everything at the start of this because it is just like holy shit. Like there's so many concepts being thrown your way. I would like to eventually find out how the other demon hunter died. They seem to really have it together.
I'm hoping they'll like flash back to him also being like trained and all that stuff, like every now and then just being like, oh, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I think again, because I know I've complained about the fact that about like comics that are overly verbose or very dense, and I will probably be doing that here in not too long again as well. But this is an example I think like my problem is not with comics having a lot of words. It's when a boring story also has a lot of words. Yeah. Because then it just makes it like just such a long slog to read. Whereas this one, it was it was dense, but it felt like the words were not unnecessary.
I just felt like it was dense, but it flowed where you didn't have to like sit on a page for like 5 minutes reading. Right. It was just like it flowed really well, even though it was quite dense at the beginning.
And also, like, I get it. There's a lot of exposition to even just get this concept across to the audience. So, like, I think, like, I don't know how else you really would have done this without much dialogue there. But yeah, I think it was quite good. I had a good time with this one.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. I'm gonna keep going with it, obviously. But yeah, it was good. It was good for our first one.
Yeah, I gave it a 7. Not because I think it was good. I just think it didn't quite like I was interested in it, but nothing was grabbing me to the point where I was like, oh my god, I'm so like into this, right? Like it was solid, but I think it didn't quite get its hooks in me all the way in. But I do still think it was pretty good, and I am gonna keep going with it as well.
Yeah, I gave it an 8. I gave it an 8.
Cool.
Let's go Void Rivals.
So last time this was both of our pick of the week.
Yes.
I
can clearly see that.
Yeah,
this is not the case anymore.
I didn't like this one that much.
Yeah.
This is written by Robert Kirkman. The artist is Lorenzo De Felici.
I still enjoy it.
Yeah, walk me through this one. But I want to be clear. I didn't like this issue very much. I do still think the series is very promising. Whatever reason, this issue didn't gel with me.
Well, all right. So starts off with them in the prison cell together. He gets taken off to be tortured for information. We meet some like weird witches.
Yes, who apparently Solila seemed to used to be a part of.
Yes, she used to be part of them. She left them to be the soldier pilot.
Yeah.
We see, what's his name? Aaron? I'm gonna call him Aaron. Derek.
Aaron.
Derek.
Darek. Yeah, is how we read to pronounce the last. Yeah.
Yeah, Darek. We see him get tortured a bit. He gets saved by.
Yeah, part of like the resistance, it seems.
Yeah. Then he gets taken to the resistance, and he says he won't help the resistance until they save Solila.
Which they bring up the point. Why would you do that? She's already betrayed you like twice.
Yes.
And like, yeah, they're right. Just leave her at this
He
point.
says it's complicated.
But I mean, I get like kind of, yeah, and I also know like, yes, they did like he would not have gotten off of that planet initially, or the asteroid or whatever, without her being there as well. I get that, but at the same time, like, she's the reason you're in that situation in the first place. Just leave.
But she already said that they're both gonna die because of what she did, and so I think he realized he knows that she knows that she fucked up, right? So he's like, all right, listen, we gotta save her too, because she saved me and she knows she messed up.
At the same time, though, they kind of already went through that character arc, didn't they? Where she was like trying to kill him, and she was like they had
but
that.
I think not to this extent, not to like the betrayal of this extent,
The resistance also, they're saying, is trying to unite the two sides of the ring as well. That's
yes.
Thing, yeah.
Brief intermission into Skuxoid Man again.
That I think was the most interesting part of this issue.
Yeah. Sharktacon's got reference. Quintessa is in this.
Yeah.
And the Big Judge Man. And
I didn't know who that was supposed to be.
Big Judge?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, well. Anyway. Skuxoid might be dying here soon, though, so we'll see. No, wait, no, they got intrigued by the Zertonian ship.
Right.
That's right. Yeah. I forgot about that part. Almost forgot about that one. So he might not be dying.
Yeah, I just kind of was bored. I think this one was paced weird, ultimately. Mm-hmm. I was kind of bored by it, and I just felt like it wasn't paced super well. I think it was just like a lot of interesting concepts were introduced, but they weren't given much time. Like the weird witch society, like that was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But they didn't really they weren't around very much. And I think Darek, I don't think he's a very interesting character, is what I think I'm ultimately coming to the conclusion of. He's just like swashbuckling generic adventurer guy who's pretty cool and wants to help people, and like that's all he really has to him. Yeah. I think I haven't noticed that too much before now, because Solila has always been around when Darek has, and I think Solila is much more interesting, like she has an actual character. And so I think splitting them up this issue, I just kind of really came to see Darek is not really full of very much depth or interesting character traits. So yeah.
I mean, I think you nailed his character pretty head on, but just being like, just uninteresting adventurer guy.
Yeah. And I also don't like the resistance people just kind of like, hey, we're here, and then they're gone. And I don't think any of them distinguish themselves in a way that's interesting as well. So I like that kind of stuff. It was kind of generic to me. So again, I'm gonna keep going with it for sure. But yes, this one did not land for me.
Yeah. All right. I'm still intrigued, but I really don't have much to say about the story. I just do enjoy it, and I think that's really it.
Yeah, that's fair.
I gave it an 8.
I gave it a 5.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we can let's head on over to Captain America now.
Alrighty.
God, I have been waiting since I read this to talk about this one. This is just such a bizarre comic. It's written by J. Michael Straczynski. The artist is Jesus Saiz. First of all, Spider-Man should not be on the cover of this comic.
No.
Like he's in literally 2 pages. They don't do anything together. Like they just they go on this like operation because Spider-Man thinks the Sinister Six are going to kill him, or going to try to kill him. But then it turns out like Doc Ock's cousin is in town.
Yep.
So they just reschedule the Spider-Man killing to another night, and they just wait there for like a page, and they're like, never mind. Also, what I don't think present day Captain America is written in character very well
At all.
See, he just seems pissed off at Spider-Man for asking him for help. And I'm like, that's not Cap. Like, Cap would 100% be like, okay, yeah, like I had plans, but whatever. Like, like you're, I know you. If you're asking for my help, I'm sure it's because you need it. So like, yeah, let's go. So, yeah. And then the other thing about this issue, it just feels like so disconnected from, like, each of its various parts seems so disparate and disconnected from each other. Because you've got present day Captain America stuff where essentially nothing's happening. He's just like fixing an apartment building and going on a botched mission with Spider-Man, where there's like, and not even botched in the interesting way. Like there's no action. Again, it's just they wait for a page and it's over. And then there's the past Captain America flashback stuff, which is about him confronting the Nazis when they were kind of trying to gain favor in America. I think Cap is written much better here. I think like Steve is written much closer to being in character, but I don't care about this stuff at all. Like Captain America versus the Nazis is not a new thing. Like that is not, it's not like you're kind of breaking new ground with that. We have seen that so much previously already. And I don't think this is really, well, and I haven't read a lot of the Captain America versus Nazi stuff, because most of that was in like the 40s. I mean, other than like every time Red Hood shows up, because he's obviously Nazi. But I don't think this is breaking any new ground. I don't think it's written particularly engaging. And again, I have no idea how that connects to anything else happening in this book. And then the third part is the weird like entrepreneur, like tycoon kind of guy going around and converting or like recruiting people from all these other organizations to like appease a demon or something. And again, don't know how that fits into anything either. I mean, to be fair, I do think at least this issue looks like it will be something, because the dude who's working for the demon has now sent some other dude after Captain America to like eliminate him, because they're trying to eliminate figures that have the potential to be real like figures of change in America and like really kind of put the country onto a radically different course. And they say like Captain America's already done that once. We don't want him to do it again. We're just going to take him out now. So I think that could be something coming up going forward. And, hopefully then we'll actually have an actual Captain America action sequence 3 issues into this Captain America series. Again, I don't have a problem if there's a comic with no action, right? Like, yeah, we're going to be talking about another comic very soon. Has no action. I think it's much better than this. And again, like Something is Killing the Children, there's no real action sequence in that. It's very tense. There's stuff going down, but there's no action sequence. And that was my pick of the week. So, and like Rare Flavors is a series about food essentially. And like, that was very close to my pick of the week. But I do think like there's nothing here to grab me. That being said, I am fascinated by this series. Like, I cannot stop thinking about it, even though I didn't like it that much. I'm just so like, despite the fact that I was bored for a lot of this issue, I'm really excited to read what happens next, because I'm just like, what the like? It's a fascinating comic to me, and like a comic example. It's an example of just like how strange this medium can be sometimes. Yeah, and I'm so into watching this unfold, even though I don't actually like what's actually being written that much. So I'm gonna keep going with it, but I'm just like, it's very bizarre for me. Yeah, that's where I fall on this.
Interesting. Okay. Present day Steve, like you said, is just like, it's super out of character to me, and I don't know if it's just because he's like, we're not seeing him really be Captain America, just like Steve, But
I would say that Captain America is so Steve that like I don't think this is not a situation of like where Peter Parker and Spider-Man are radically different. Like Steve and Captain America, they're just the same inside and outside of the suit.
Exactly. That's what I was gonna say. But like even like the flashback Steve is like, and honestly, he appears more Captain America than the present day Steve. I find the flashback stuff boring, man. like could care
I agree.
less.
No, I agree. Yeah.
I just man, and
that's
honestly,
what takes up the majority of this issue, I would say.
yeah, and honestly, like my favorite part of this was them having to stake out with Steve having to stake out with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Because at least that was like somewhat funny to read, like Spider-Man just failing at being Spider-Man, essentially. It's
the only reason
funny.
Yeah, they just put Spider-Man on the cover because people know and like Spider-Man. And also, people know, if they're reading this series, people probably know that J. Michael Straczynski, the writer of this, wrote a very long and mostly very well-liked run on Spider-Man. So it's kind of like, he's writing Spider-Man again, come read it. But it's like, well, he's not really. Like, he's in 2 pages,
Yeah, exactly. I completely glossed over this demon stuff. I was lost when he started talking about that. I don't know.
Yeah, there's those 2 people who are working with him, and they're like, what is this weird code? And they're like, it's demon speak. That actually, I think that was an interesting scene where the 2 people are like, what is this code? And then he's like, oh, whoa, that's like a thing. And the guy, like, one of the guys is like really freaked out by it. And he's like, okay, I'll be right back. And the guy's like, all right, give me a coffee. And the dude just walks up to the top floor of the roof and just steps off. And it's like, that was pretty interesting. Right. Like, that was genuinely pretty engaging and chilling. And I'm like, whoa.
Right. That's right. He walked off the roof.
Yeah.
I remember that. I remember they couldn't decipher it. And then, actually, he did say something about being able to decipher it. And then
and it was like some mystic symbol is what he described it as.
Yeah. And then he got freaked out. And he just walked off the roof.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So I think that was by far the most interesting scene in the comic, actually.
It's like you said. I just find this fascinating. Like I can't.
Yeah, it's so bizarre.
I can't say it's bad. Like it's boring at best. But I can't say it was bad. I really can't.
Yeah, I'm just like I
can't.
I know it's like a car crash that you just can't look away from. I don't even necessarily think it's a car crash. It's not like it's fine.
It's like a fender bender, bro.
So yeah, 5 out of 10. I can't wait to see where this goes.
5 out of 10. I can wait, but I will read the next one. I'm not like at the point where I'm just like, man, if the next one's not good, I'm dropping it. No, I'm just like, even if the next one's not that good, I don't see myself being like, I'm dropping it.
Anyway, moving right along. This is the Immortal Thor number 3, as with the other 2, written by Al Ewing. The artist is Martin Kokolo. I don't know if I'm going to say this is the best issue of the series, but I do think it's the most consistently good across the board. I didn't have the thing I've had with this issue, where I had with the previous 2, where I thought the second half was much better than the first half.
Yeah.
This one I thought was pretty good all the way through. Not amazing. I did think that the concept, as it was listed in the summary, or the synopsis rather, sounded more interesting than it actually ended up being. But I do like how we get to see Thor logic his way out of it and like use his mind rather than just like his strength. Because it is essentially Loki transports him to this other like weird pocket dimension planet thing. We don't really know where or what it was. But there appears to be no way out other than like a rune stick that Loki has.
Yes.
So essentially we see Thor kind of make himself an axe and then use that axe to get a bunch of resources and make his own rune stick and then get out of there. And what is interesting is that while he was there, like it seemed like no time at all has really passed in the real world, but that somehow counted as the Odin sleep, and now he's completely refreshed again and he's fine. And then it ends with, and I'm really excited for this, he's like, I'm gonna go get the other like god of the storm. And then we see Storm on the last page, just like going crazy through the sky. And as someone who has been reading X-Men Red, I'm not caught up on it, but I have been reading it. Storm is like one of the main characters of that run, and it's also written by Al Ewing. So like, Al Ewing's been crushing it with Storm. I'm really excited to see where she goes with it, or where he goes with it in the future. Anyway, yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah. And yeah, the reason Loki, trapped him in this alternate pocket dimension world thing was to teach him a lesson, he said.
Yeah.
And then 2 was to also help him forge a weapon that
to take down Tornos.
To take down Tornos. And Thor was like mad at Loki at first, but even he was like, yeah, you know what? You helped me. He grabbed it. The hammer itself is forged from his helmet.
Yes.
Which, I mean, I don't know if that was that much metal in that helmet in the first place before that big of a fucking hammer had, but whatever.
And yeah, I mean, it basically looks. I mean, it looks like Stormbreaker, not exactly.
Yeah, it's
but
not Stormbreaker, but it does look like it. Yeah,
I think what was it called? It was Torgard or something like that. Torgard. What he called it?
something Norse sounding. Yeah,
It started with the T. I don't know, something like that. But yeah. It's kind of looks like Stormbreaker, honestly. And yeah, he says now has Mjolnir and I'm just gonna call it Stormbreaker. So there you go.
I don't think I have too much to say on this one, but
Oh, the
yeah.
colors in the other planet were cool.
Yeah, I agree. And also great cover. As
True.
as with the last one. But yeah, as with the past two, I also gave this one an 8. I think it's good. This series so far has not been blowing me away like some other Al Ewing stuff has in the past.
Yeah.
But you know, I like where it's building. Clearly, he's got a really solid plan because he's already, again, as far as I'm aware, like last I saw, this was after issue number 1 or 2, I think. I saw somebody say that apparently he has the first 40 issues outlined and like plotted out. So it's like clearly he's got a plan. But yeah, 8 out of 10 for me for this one.
Yeah, I gave it a 7 out of 10.
Well, that'll finally wrap it up for this episode. Next episode will be presumably a much shorter one because it is a very light week. But there is a new issue of the Avengers coming out. We'll see on this one. I mean, I'm gonna keep reading it because I feel like I should be reading the core Avengers book, but at the same time, that first arc was just kind of all over the place. We also have the last issue of Gotham War, which means we'll be returning to our segment Better or Worse Than Night Terrors. Excited for that. We have a new series from Image called Blood Commandant, which is about vampires or something. Sounds kind of interesting. The new issue of No One is supposedly coming out next week, but that has been delayed to hell, so I don't really know if that's actually coming out. Sacrifice was number 4. I am actually interested in this series again after the last issue. I think it was quite good. Spirit World, the conclusion of that. I'm an issue behind, but I don't have much else to read this week, so I might as well catch up. And then also the Ultimate Universe number 1 one-shot, which is going to be setting up and establishing the new version of the Ultimate Universe, which will be coming starting in January with Ultimate Spider-Man, and then followed up on in February and March with Ultimate Black Panther and Ultimate X-Men, respectively. So that's my list right now. You got anything to shout out here?
I really don't.
Okay. Yeah, so thank you again, everybody, for watching or listening if you're on YouTube. Of course, you can like and subscribe to the channel, and you can also hit the bell notification if you would like to know when we upload new videos. You can also leave us a comment and tell us what you think about the comics that are currently coming out and what you're excited for in the future. If you want to talk to us about that stuff on Spotify, best way to do that would be to email us at earthsmightiestcomicspod@gmail.com. That is all one word with no apostrophe in the word Earth. And if you're on Spotify as well, you can also follow the show, and that way you will not miss it when we upload a new episode. No matter where you are, if you like the show, you can also tell a friend. That's the best way for us to get new listeners, probably, if you think they would like it. And yeah, with all that said, again, thank you for listening, and we will see you all next week.